question for you. Are you Quick Gun Murugan or are you James Bond? Or do your colleagues or family members call you by that nickname because you are so trigger happy? The slightest change in your circumstances triggers you, and you have violent mood swings in which you start, either yelling at people or behaving badly or kind of throwing a tantrum like a small child. If you are constantly getting triggered, then there are some important things you need to know about what might be happening with you. So, what really is a trigger? One very important thing to remember, and when I learned that during my journey, through this process, I just found it so magnificently enlightening, because what my mentor taught me and what I want you to also realize is that the triggers are inside us. Now that may seem a little counterintuitive because you're like, no, they are not. It's that person's expression that triggered me, or that particular situation that triggered me, or the way they spoke to me that triggered me. But the important factor in all this is you. You were the one who got triggered, because somewhere in your storage banks, our brains store every memory. The conscious memory, the subconscious memory stores almost every experience that we have ever had. But it remembers it with the twist that in order to keep you safe in the future, right? So if you have had some experience in the past where that particular expression was followed maybe by some kind of violence, or by somebody lying to you or betraying to you, or even some kind of a situation like being at a railway station, or the smell of a certain food relives that emotion inside your brain, as a result of which all the adrenaline starts surging through you and you become fight or flight response. So either you have to leave the situation, you just cannot be there physically, or you cannot be there emotionally. And the only way you can manage the emotional push away is by verbally attacking people, or somehow being unpleasant enough that no one comes near you. Now the important thing, again, as I said, to remember is the triggers are all inside you. The other person, let's say somebody stands like this, it may not trigger your colleague. It's triggering you because that particular expression or that particular body language is reminding you of something that happened to you in the past that was unpleasant. So your brain is telling you, hey, watch out, something unpleasant is about to happen, right? So once you recognize that the triggers are all inside you, it is actually such a huge relief. So I'm not saying it's about, you must be thinking, oh, how can she say that? That person is so disrespectful, that person is unpleasant, it's all their fault. This is where you make the shift from being the victim of other people to being the victor of your own life. Once you recognize that the triggers are inside you, the power is all with you. You are the one who can then manage those triggers. Remember that even with a lot of work, the triggers may never go away completely. Or, a certain set of triggers may go away and new ones may emerge, because, we are evolving, growing, always gathering new experiences, making new meaning of what is happening to us. But if you are able to reduce the number of triggers, or at least reduce the intensity of the triggers, it is going to give you so much emotional freedom. It is going to help you create healthy boundaries and healthy relationships. And eventually, isn't that what all of us want? All we want is to live a happy life with healthy relationships, be liked by people and like people in return, and be comfortable in each other's company. In fact, even be joyful and liberated in each other's company. So before you can achieve that high level of personal fulfillment, you need to learn to be comfortable with yourself. So it may be time for some introspection, maybe some journaling, maybe work with an expert who can help you unpack what is really going on when you get triggered. Because as you know, the trigger, when you get triggered, either emotionally or by a physical presence, you can feel it all over your body, right? Your hands start shaking, your palm might be sweating, you almost sometimes see a red mist in front of your eyes. Your body knows. Your body is also holding some memories. So it may be important for you to just sit with yourself, either through meditation or, as I said, with an expert who understands how to unpack it for you. Maybe do some journaling, Every day when you come back in the evening, you think, okay, why did I get triggered by that? Is there something that I have forgotten but my body remembers, or my subconscious remembers? You may or may not have heard of this author called Proust, who wrote a whole series of books about, the memories that emerged just by eating a biscuit that was dipped in tea. And those fond memories and the nostalgia of his childhood. So our brain, we must remember, is an extremely powerful machine in a way. And it is designed only to keep you safe. Really, that is its main role. So anything that it perceives as danger, it is going to set off red alarms all over you. So we need to be able to recognize when that happens and say, oh, hey brain, thank you for reminding me of that. But you know what? This is not the same situation. That is what used to happen when I was a child. I had this, maybe my father was very strict and he would stand like this just before he started verbally abusing me or maybe physically abusing me. But now I'm an adult. I know how to keep myself safe, and I know that everybody is walking around with unhealed trauma. So maybe the body language that the other person is showing is a reflection of what they themselves are going through. So learn to forgive yourself and find compassion for others. Now, I must say, this is not an easy journey. Despite having worked on this for so long and been supported by so many mentors, there are occasions when I find myself getting triggered. But I think it's a win that at least now I'm conscious of the fact that I'm getting triggered. Whereas earlier, I felt like I was just swimming in a sea of emotions, just triggered by everything that was outside of me. Whereas now I know it is all inside me, and therefore I hold the power. I hope you found this useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.